The entire team at Emsolation want to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. We want to recognise that we are recording and telling our stories on the stolen land of our country's first storytellers. We wish to pay our respects to all Wurundjeri elders and ancestors, and to extend that respect to any First Nations peoples who listen to Emsolation. We recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people's continued connection to the land and waters of this country, and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. Always was, always will be.
You're in Emsolation.
Okay, here we go.
Perfect.
All right.
Great. And I can just leave it there?
Yeah.
Are we on?
Oh, my God.
You are on.
All right. Here we go.
I just want to say, Em and Scott always have fights over this, don't
They do.
It's really like...
But to be honest,
here we go.
like I think we just have to acknowledge they always have fights in every circumstance.
Every
so
day.
it doesn't,
Okay,
I have
right.
full confidence in our ability to navigate it without a fight.
Here we go.
Here we go. Welcome. All right. She is a singer, a writer.
Oh, you've ruined it already.
What?
It starts with writer.
She's a writer, a singer, a stand-up, a maximalist power queen, a neurodivergent magic brain, and she is not here except as described on my jumper.
Still looms large.
Because instead,
The
very
spirit
large.
of a hoodie.
The spirit of a hoodie. And she's actually got her full face behind the hoodie, her full like floral face.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, I'm the host today. I'm screenwriter Michael Lucas, her best friend since 11. And joining me is, get ready, a writer, a director, an editor, a photographer, a classic film aficionado, particularly if it's horror or anything starring Andrew Scott, and I would also say an attendee of M's press club address. So clearly you can tell it is not her husband. It's my husband.
Other husbands in this
So
community.
tick one, win in the marriage wars. Adrian Chiarella, welcome. And
What button?
welcome.
There's some very bitchy ones on there. I was wondering
and
where
also-
you were going to go.
Hi, gay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
And I should say as well that James is here
Hi, gay.
and Ben.
Hi, gay.
And so this room is exclusively homosexual male. I mean, as though it's not when Em's here, because let's face it, she's a bigger fag than all of us put together. Anyway, we are doing apparently a Marriage Diaries episode because Ms. Rossiano, in such a diva move, is she's on vocal rest. Okay, Mariah. No, she is. It's serious. She's saving herself for the crescendo. It's this first crescendo of her tour in Melbourne. Prior to obviously Mariah Carey Arena, where there'll be an even... No, they're both going to be great in their own ways, the crescendos. But Friday night's a big night. So instead we've got Adrian, and Ben put the call out for questions for Emsolators for us, and frankly, there is a stunning number of questions. We are only going to crack the surface, but I just needed to begin with some breaking news. I'm almost getting there. Okay.
And we should say you're going to do an M and you're going to like surprise me. I don't know.
No, he doesn't know what this is. Okay. So the break. Oh, fuck. How do you stop
Press
it?
the red stop
Oh,
button.
stop.
There you go. Oh, she's good with the panel.
It's breaking gay news, and I think this is very exciting to say that Lady Gaga has, at this point, as we record
She's coming to
this-
Australia.
No, she has a global top 10 hit with Bruno Mars.
okay,
Now, the hit is Die With a Smile. We have, of course, we fell over ourselves. I should just say, Lady Gaga, this does bridge into our marriage because divas are a very important part of our marriage,
Yes.
and I don't mean Em, although she is too.
Yeah.
But I mean the actual concert divas. And I would say, I mean, there's no disputing that there are two key queens.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
Yes.
Being?
Beyonce, obviously. And Gaga.
No, I would say Beyonce and Madonna are the ultimate
right.
Empress
Okay.
queens.
I thought you were like, okay.
No,
Anyway,
no.
yes. I thought you were setting up.
But I think Lady Gaga is very critical because she exploded to fame at the exact time that we got together. And she was our first.
Concert.
She was.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah, we've got lots of pictures. The Fame Ball. Yes, with your
The
friend Danielle.
entertainment centre, wasn't it? That's all now knocked down. Doesn't
And she
exist.
was also almost our last concert. Actually, Beyonce was, but we saw her the day before.
That's true.
And we love Gaga because, albeit that I think we have to acknowledge that Beyonce and Madonna are the pinnacle, I think it's fair to say neither of them went full Barbara and went into movies, but Gaga has.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this year in particular, she's going to
Calls
start.
herself an actress first and foremost.
She is an. Does she?
Yeah.
Oh.
Really? Even before singer?
Well, doesn't she always do that in
Yeah,
her
she
interviews?
does.
She goes,
Oh.
I'm an actor. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's possibly even more gravelly and
Yeah.
vocal fry than that. I'm an actor.
Yeah.
So she's got a top 10 hit, and it's with Bruno Mars, who I feel kindly towards, but negligible. I mean, he's got some good songs.
So is this the news? Or are you getting
Yeah, no. So here's the news. Get ready. The news is like
Move on.
I've got a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
So she's about to come out in a movie called Joker 2: Folie à Dieu.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now, is this song? She says it's just something random, and that Bruno Mars called her into the recording studio and said, "Oh, I've got a song." But do we believe that this song is completely disconnected from the Joker? And I have evidence. Firstly, what's your gut say? Is there a connection? They haven't announced one, but do you think there's a connection with the Joker sequel?
Oh. So why are you just cutting onto the possibility? I mean, the song's been out for a while. I mean, I kind of see it in the design and the character.
Yes.
And
yeah. So the video clip is her and him, and they're presenting themselves as like 1970s, 80s styled variety show duo. Like they're a bit Dolly. She's a bit Dolly, but they're a bit Sonny and Cher.
She's definitely getting into the acting more than he is.
She totally
In
is.
like
Well,
she's got a whole character. He's just standing there looking
She's
cool.
an actress.
Yeah, yeah.
But so the premise of Joker, Folie à Dieu means mutual delusion between two people. And so isn't it in that they fall in love and see themselves as
Right.
like Sonny and Cher-esque thing? So that's one connection. But also the title is Die With a Smile. And
Yeah,
like
right.
truly, if you had to come up with a title that had more in connection with Joker, I don't think you could do any better than that. Like Die With a Smile is the most Joker title you could possibly come up with. Yeah. And it's a love song. It's a love duet. And so is it possible that she's just happened to release this a month or two before this movie and it has no connection whatsoever? Or do you think that they are playing some sort of game where they're going to like surprise reveal that it's part of the movie all along?
I've never seen a stealth reveal
I know.
of the song from the movie. Or do you think they weren't sure about it and they thought, let's release it and see what happens? Or what? That's
Maybe
very-
she wrote it for the movie and they said no.
And she did it as a bit of
Surely not.
Oh,
Well,
no.
the last laughs on them then, because she it's top 10 all around the world. But it is uncharacteristic. But is it amazing that it's becoming an established hit and then they'll reveal actually it was written for this movie and then it could win the Oscar?
Right. Wow. Well, we'll find out soon. I mean,
Well,
what is
surely.
it? September. Yeah. So our other favorite thing about Gaga is we love it when she turns up to Venice on a boat with her movie. It's just our favorite.
She's done it twice already.
Yeah.
So
it's
this is the
coming.
third
Yeah.
time. It always comes, the initial photo call is her. She likes to recline on the side of the boat as it goes
Yeah.
through, sort of like a glamorous 50s movie star or a royalty or a
Yeah,
fusion
yeah,
of the two. And then she appears. And then she will get a standing ovation, unquestionably, and she will tear up majestically.
Yeah.
And then there's also she likes to talk up her acting chops, and obviously because she's playing some sort of clowning figure. There's theatrical schools that you say she's going to bring out. What's your prediction?
She's going to talk about her history with like studying commedia dell'arte and
Yeah.
she will, and clowning and
Yes,
she will.
I spent 6 months in commedia dell'arte.
Yeah. She'll
I
have gone
learned
to
how
some
to
big
juggle.
school in Europe and
Yeah,
That's
I had a
amazing.
psychotic break.
We love the press tour as much as the work itself.
Yeah,
That is actually a whole event in itself.
Yes,
there
yeah.
can be 99 people in a room and. No, 100 people in a room, 99 of them don't believe you, and all it takes is that one. Who knows? What beautiful story.
God, I hope we get another quote that's repeated.
So there's so much to live for, but my conspiracy theory is that there will be some sort of link between the Bruno Mars song and Joker. And I don't know why they've gone about it this way, but I just cannot believe that she's released a song called Die With a Smile that's about a retro variety club act right before this movie. So you heard it here
Seahorse of
first.
Hope.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the dun dun dun.
Oh, well, okay.
Oh, he doesn't.
I don't know.
where
I
it
don't
is.
know where it is.
The pressure to find the button is horrible.
There you go. Well, this has started very gay.
And it will only get worse. All right. So now we'll go to our many responses.
Yeah, 95 questions.
Jesus Christ. And you only put it up this morning, didn't you? No, last night.
It's just been 24 hours, just under 24 hours.
You said we can read over them first. We just haven't had time.
No,
There's just so many. Like
No,
okay.
you can just scan. But why don't you pick the first one? You just pick it randomly.
Does Michael leave his teacup laying around at home too, Adrian? I can tell you he does. I did start to do a photo montage, but I don't have the commitment that Em has, so I gave up after a while.
Is that true?
Yeah, I got bored though, so I just stopped.
God, the bombshells are already coming out. I had no idea that I've been photographed my detritus. But
They're always in very because our kitchen gets a lot of nice light, so they're always in really amazing spots. It's always very...
so it's for the photographic.
The photographic element of it. It's always a fun experiment and a nice little exercise.
It's not evidence. It's an artistic project.
It's just a new way of seeing
I
the
would
home.
say, I in my mind, we have about the same level of like putting things in the dishwasher.
Oh, yeah. We have the same threshold of when it's too much and something needs to be done about
like,
this right now.
it will be occasionally that there is a telltale gin glass that has the squeezed bit of lemon in the bottom, that's just sort of left there. But never to the point where it gets...
Yeah.
I feel like that's where... Look, one thing that's going to be boring about this is a lot of our calibrations are very similar, and I reckon the cleanliness calibration is pretty much bang on. The biggest thing that we've had about cleanliness is I resisted like getting a cleaner until we were both doing full-time production work. And then... Only then.
I just want to say as well, the cleaner thing it was only because I started working on your shows. And I said to you, I am not going to work for you and then come home and clean up after you. And so...
I would say that the cleaning was even. But I used to delude myself that it was meditative. You never found it meditative.
There is nothing meditative about cleaning.
Well, for me, I don't know. Does anyone find it meditative?
No.
I think Taylor does. Has she said that one time?
If I'm listening to Reputation.
Well, I always was. Maybe not that.
Just say that again because your mic was down.
If I'm listening to Reputation, then yes.
Good cleaning choice. All right, now I am going to pick one. Have you learned marriage tips from Em and Scott?
Sorry, I knocked the microphone.
Calibrate your reaction. Adrian's unfortunately had a stroke.
Yeah. What have we learnt from them, genuinely? Look,
no.
they've been together a lot longer than us.
They have.
So
although
I think
even we have been together a long time now, I hate to say.
That's
I like
true.
to say.
That's true. But they're like
16 years.
But they're over 2 decades, right? They're like almost
yeah.
3. No, not 3 decades.
No. They're 2.5 decades.
Wow.
They're a quarter of a century.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I think that what I would learn from them is, I don't know why I'm giggling, I would learn that I feel like that they have had several different relationships over their time. Like they obviously, I didn't even see the initial one. Like I can't even imagine an Em and Scott that aren't grappling with children.
Oh, you mean it's sort of evolved?
Yeah, I would say if you take
no,
something
that's
from
fair,
them,
yeah.
it's like you don't have one relationship, you have several.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I feel like our early days relationship, particularly because we were long distance initially, sort of long distance, I feel like that's very different to what we are now. Now we're practically in each other's pockets all the time.
Yeah.
And happily so. So I would take from them that in each new era, you sort of have to recalibrate your relationship. In their case, you might take a break, maybe. We haven't had that.
Well, several. Yeah. But no, I think it's true. You do sort of grow together. That's the thing that I observed from them.
Yeah. And I felt it too. All right, your next one.
Oh, hang on.
The pressure. I know my next
What's
one.
it like being married to M2? Yeah, no, that is a good question. I feel like I'm having an affair with my own husband right now at this point.
You are.
On camera.
Yeah, exactly. M is just a part of our life. You know, the studio here is literally down the hill from our house. And sometimes
name.
if she comes over after work, she'll often beat you to meet up with you. And like if you're out somewhere and she's meeting you after work,
I thought she meant physical violence. And I'm like,
she'll beat you to the house if you're any. And so we'll spend a bit of time hanging out and chatting, gossiping, bitching about people. Wouldn't you all like to know? But, and we do have a really,
Yeah, you and Em have some intriguing parallels that people might not realize. Like, for example, you're both Italian, and that does come out big time when you're around each other.
Yeah, it does.
And you're both, like, have an Italian sense of drama, gossip. Like I know that it's frustrating for Em in a way that I'm not partake. I'm not a big gossiper. I'm not a good gossiper.
For Em, it's frustrating.
But so whereas Adrian, if he's sitting on some sort of juicy gossip or speculation or theory about someone, Em's much better to speak to than I am.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. So they also can provide an outlet for each other.
Yeah.
But there's no escaping her. And you knew, like, obviously very early on, her presence made itself felt.
And it was non-negotiable as well.
That's right. Yeah. It wasn't. One wouldn't describe it as a terrorist hostage situation.
No.
Or if not, it's just very happy Stockholm syndrome. All right. I've got from Anne Pierce, 74, first impression of each other's mums.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm intrigued by this. Adrian's mum is obviously an iconic character and also a real life person.
Yeah.
She has, at various times, you could say that she has, in my own work, inspired Harry's Indian mother from 5 Bedrooms and also the character of Nolene in Newsreader.
Oh, yeah.
But she is Chinese Malaysian and like incredibly definitive about what she thinks, strong-willed, she can be relied upon to have an opinion about pretty much anything, and it's very practical, clean cut. And I think what was amazing about it was I was quite nervous when I met her. I first met her at your graduation. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And that wasn't really, I couldn't really speak to her then because it was at like literally at Sydney Showgrounds. But then I went round to her house.
Oh, yeah.
And like basically she sat me down as like an audience and then just unleashed all her theories about everything. And it was absolutely...
The world, her family.
Yeah, particularly her family. Yeah, everyone in her life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say she was unsparing, but in a delightful way. So that was my first impression. I have to say it's very much still the case. She's the most reliably constant figure I think that we have
Yes.
in our lives.
I think so.
What about my mum?
Your mum, I remember... It was very early days and you were living in that place in Surrey Hills and we went for breakfast with her.
That's right, on Crown
one
Street.
time.
Yeah.
Yes. And I remember, what do I remember about that? She, like compared to my mum, she was a lot more measured in terms of how much she opened up. But once she started
Do you still think of her that way?
No. But now,
Yeah.
she's
unleashed.
Unleashed. And, you know, we always go to her house at gin o'clock, which is usually around
True.
about 4 or 5.
Which is every day has gin o'clock. There is not a day without gin o'clock.
Every day. And so we always go around and have a drink and we walk our dogs and we just have a really nice chat about whatever's going on in the world.
When he says nice chat, what he's leaving out is that Adrian
I do drop
my
a few
mum.
little about
Because-
particular topics that I know she'll,
that will elicit some white lady judgment, I think is how we would call it. So often you'll stockpile incidents in the news or in pop culture just to bring up. And if she doesn't aware of it, we'll happily play her a YouTube clip.
Yeah.
And she walks,
watch for the
she's
live
never
reaction.
picked that this is what's happening.
Well,
Like she's
I mean,
never...
She will now.
Oh, no, she doesn't. It's all right. She doesn't know how to work podcasts. She doesn't listen to it anyway.
Right.
No, but absolutely, you. Also, I would say she likes the gossip. So you and them
she does enjoy it, yeah.
connect with my mum in a way beyond what I do.
And also, do you remember when our mums met? Do you remember I was so nervous about...
Adrian wanted to cancel her on the morning.
I did. I woke up. I was like, what are we doing? We're introducing our parents to each other? This is like, what? Is that a thing? Like, I'd never done that before. Never.
Oh,
ever,
really?
Ever. No. I'd never done that. So I was like,
either.
why are we doing this? Is this like, shouldn't it have just happened naturally? Why are we setting up this dinner date for them? Like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
Anyway. But
and you freaked me out too. I was fine up until then, but then I was like, what are we walking ourselves into? Is this, they're formidable, our mothers. And also, I suppose the terror is because they are so clear about when they don't like someone, like it did feel hazardous. Like there was a danger it could go bad.
Yeah.
But
the other way.
Well, they were, yes. And they united in basically like sort of gossiping / criticizing us. They drank a lot of red wine.
Yeah.
And gin, I think. And then basically just talked about everything that was silly about the two of us individually.
Critiqued the fact that we, just weren't getting the right health insurance. And,
that's right. Yeah.
All of the basic things that mums,
And have remained good friends ever since.
Yeah.
All right. Have you got your next one?
Oh, no, I haven't. Hold on. Does Michael answer a lot with at home as well, like he does on the pod?
Do I answer with
I think you maybe do that because Em has a tendency to perhaps talk a lot more in this.
Yeah.
Maybe, and you perhaps leave a bit of space for her.
I'm her sidekick.
Yeah. You know what that's about. That probably doesn't really apply at home. I don't think that happens at home as much. And I don't think the to be fair happens at home, does it? No, I don't think it does. I think you reserve that one for M, really.
Yeah, that's fascinating, isn't it? Why is it? It sounds like it sounds mean of me to just constantly be profound, but it's also probably in this context we want to get a discussion going. So obviously there's a real impetus to say, let me present the opposite of that. Whereas I think when you're relaxing at home and maybe you're bringing up something you don't necessarily want to hear someone say, well, I'm just going to tell you the complete opposite of everything that you're thinking. That would not be a tip for a good marriage. All right. Tell us about your wedding. Thank you, Ellis May. Well, I mean, where to begin? It was absolutely enormous.
But do we go right back? Do we go back to the proposal? Do you go back to
Let's do the proposal because I imagine people would want
questions about the proposal.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Well, am I going to tell it? Should
Well,
I
I
start?
proposed.
You
So
proposed. So does that mean that I tell the story?
I don't mind.
You did the proposing, so I have to do the telling.
How do you tell it?
How do I tell it? It was a really busy time for both. Well, actually, it was busy. Yeah, it was busy for both of us. I was in the middle preparing to shoot something in Sydney, and you were living down here in Melbourne, and you'd been overseas, hadn't you? And you just got back from
You had been living in Melbourne, but you were in Sydney temporarily.
Yeah, I was in Sydney working on something up there, and then I was completely preoccupied with that. And then the morning of the marriage equality results, you landed back here in Melbourne from New York. Was it? Yeah. You landed back here from New York, and I came to Melbourne and met you at the airport.
Yeah.
And I remember before you landed, I was scouring the airport for somewhere where we could watch the results.
Yes. I remember, was in the city at the square, and maybe there was some thought that if I got through customs early enough, we might have gone there, but it rapidly became apparent that wasn't going to be possible.
And you were landing 15 minutes, or you were going to clear customs 15 minutes before the announcement.
Unbelievable.
And I was scouring the airport while I was waiting for you, because in my mind, I thought it's like the movies, airports just have bars full of televisions playing 24-hour news. Melbourne Airport does not have many televisions playing 24-hour news, even on an important day like that. So there was a sketchy little Irish pub somewhere on the second floor.
Yeah.
I'd scouted it out. I'm like, okay, they're playing it in here.
Yeah.
And as soon as you came out of the gates, I quickly was like, hi. Yeah. And then we said hello, and then just shuffled you onto an escalator to get you up, because I was worried we were going to miss it.
Yes.
And then on the escalator, you asked me
to marry. Yes.
Really?
This dirty escalator at the back of Melbourne Airport.
But so my thinking about it was, so I had decided, obviously this was all playing out during the marriage equality. So it would not have been legal for us to get married. For me, in my mind, I knew we were going to get married after our 2016 trip around, because we traveled for a couple of months, and it feels like that we'd never actually traveled for that long with each other. And it feels like, and I felt like we were heaps closer after that. And that I knew
and that had been a big year as well.
Yes, and I knew we were getting married then, but it was not legal. And so then when I was in New York, I was psyching myself up to propose. And weirdly, the people I was hanging out with in New York, namely Jane Harbour and Sarah Snook, both knew that I divulged to them that was what was going to happen. But then when I landed, we were going to go watch I said to myself, let's go watch the results on TV. And then if it's yes, I'll instantly propose. But then once I landed and I saw you, that was quite emotional. And I thought, hang on, I don't want to wait for the permission of that's just sucks. If I feel it, I should say it so that you know that that's what I want, even if it's a no. And so that's why when we were going up the escalator, I decided to propose then. And then we watched the results.
Spontaneous. Yeah.
And it was a yes. And then I remember texting Em. I texted my mother. And my mother said we should have a big wedding, which is really weird because she doesn't like weddings. But she was swept up in the energy of the moment. And now when we go back to the airport, we often go for a little sentimental ride up that escalator, which still exists. And they've renovated the airport a lot all around it. But our marriage proposal escalator is still there.
I know. And you would not think that is the escalator. That is the feature they would keep in that airport. Through
No,
the multiple
exactly.
facelifts that place has had. But I feel for
us, it's the universe keeping it together.
Yeah,
and then our wedding itself.
The wedding. I wish to talk about the actual wedding. Yeah. Okay.
Well, it was a big extravaganza. And I used to work, there's a ballroom underneath the Regent Theatre. That's very ornate and amazing. We knew it was going to be big because, well, frankly, you've got a huge family because there's Italian and Chinese Malaysian side of the family. And let's just say both of those are prone to having lots of members.
Yeah.
And then also
expectations at weddings and
also working in film and TV, you've always got new big batches of people. So it was like 250 people.
Wow.
We needed, I know. And also I think there's a showman aspect to, I'm going to say us, but definitely me. And I was aware of the fact that if we got married, we would be almost certainly almost everyone's first gay wedding, which felt like felt like the celebration was even bigger than just the two of us. And yeah, I that theater is amazing, and I'd worked there as a waiter, and mostly at Jewish weddings, and I always thought it was just the best, and also weirdly not as expensive as you would think because it's subterranean. A lot of people don't like that. So yeah, we had a big extravaganza. Em sang, my niece and nephew sang. It was very musical, and our friend Lucy Durack was upstairs performing in Wizard of Oz and came down in her full Glinda costume, and it was great. It was, and also I was prepared to not. Did you think you were going to enjoy it, or did you think you were going to be stressed?
No, I thought I'd be a little bit stressed. People had sort of said, it's funny. The advice from people was, you could get swept up in the stress, but you should just enjoy it. So I think I sort of knew about that element of it.
I sort of said to myself, you'd probably just not going to enjoy it on the night, but you'll enjoy it in retrospect, and you'll kind of like. And also, someone had said to me, like, 3 things are going to go wrong, and you just need to accept it. But then, weirdly, right from the start of that day, I really enjoyed it, and nothing went wrong. Like everything just went great. Yeah. It was terrible weather, but it didn't matter because we were subterranean. And the only one bit of advice I had is we did our photos beforehand. And I really love that because it meant that you got to like just spend time, just the two of you, and it was sort of very calming and relaxed. And you just wandered around.
And no one was waiting as well.
Yeah, no one was.
Done.
Yeah. And so then
before the ceremony.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because you're all
just a few hours before.
Yeah, and
on the way in, actually.
It sounds like a stressful thing, but it's great because it forces you to be ready early, and then you just sort of get this sort of gentle time together. And so by the time we wandered in and saw everyone, I was like really relaxed and ready.
Yeah. That's right.
All right. Was it me or you?
What do we argue about the most? What?
M.
Probably. No, the arguments are always about like when I think about the arguments, they're usually, what are they about? They're usually about really not very big things.
No, in retrospect, that's not true. Yeah. Our first big argument, bizarrely, was legitimately, it was a combination of Em and Madonna.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah, it was bad. I'm sure
Michael
we've told
and Adrian's marriage where even the arguments are gay.
This is the gayest argument in the world, and it was because, I mean, it was an absolute Sophie's choice, and I know what that means, and I'm still using that for me because I got a double pass to see a club gig of Madonna's, an acoustic club gig. And so do I pick the friend who I've appreciated and watched Madonna with since I was 11, or my boyfriend at the time, partner, love of my life? And I did ask you initially, and you said take him, but I made a mistake. It was bad. It was brutal. But then the only way I could recover was to try and get another ticket. And I entered every available competition. Like I spent an entire day entering. You had to write something, and I entered. In the end, I won 5 tickets, and so we all came.
So a lot of people went.
A lot of people. Yeah. That was still that was the worst one.
That was the worst one. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we don't argue that much.
No, I know. I think Em finds it suspicious.
She does. Yeah.
No, it's Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe because we do have similar calibrations about all these little things. So there isn't that underlying level. Like I know with M's situation, there's a lot of arguments over the division of domestic labor.
Yeah.
And also,
we don't have kids.
Yeah.
It makes things a lot easier.
Our lives
are
much easier.
Yeah.
Would you work together on a TV show, script producing, etc., or keep it separate? Well,
we have, haven't we?
We have. Adrian directed. It was his second television directing gig, 2 episodes of 5 Bedrooms, season 4.
That's right.
And funnily enough, weirdly, it wasn't really that much driven by me, although you'd done an attachment on that show. Mm-hmm. But as it turned out,
Can I ask what an attachment is?
Oh, like is part of Adrian becoming a director?
Yeah, like a few seasons before, I sort of followed one of the other
right,
directors
right.
around and watched what he was doing.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 And I always thought to myself, look, Adrian's first TV directing gig just should never be on one of my shows because that would look absolutely terrible. But then as it turned out, he directed the Stan show totally, completely fine. And then like all the producers of Five Bedrooms, I think they saw, okay, Adrian, firstly, he lives in Melbourne, so we don't have to fly him there. He lives with you. He knows everyone. He knows the show. The cast all want him. He supports our drive to give an emerging director a slot, plus we were really keen to have a queer director because there were queer storylines.
It was a big queer storyline.
And so it was just like tick, 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 tick. And so I was like,
it was also a big Manju
That's
episode,
right,
which,
that's
as you
right.
just said, was
Yes.
a big inspiration. For
yes.
mine. Yeah.
So Adrian intuitively, because he was raised by a Manju-esque figure, knew that character.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And I still was pretty nervous because it can sometimes not work out great with directors. Like sometimes, and as the producer, as one of them with Christine, like we have to then step in and imagine that. So you said
I
to
did
me,
say to you at the start, I said, you just fire me. Just fire me. I was like, if something goes wrong, just fire me. I was like, I don't care. Just fire me because I don't want to lose the marriage.
you said the marriage is more important
Yeah.
than my directing gig.
Yeah. Yeah.
But actually, it was amazing. It was great. And weirdly, Adrian was more calm in the situation than I was. And I don't mean that I was stressed about us. I just meant that there was a lot going. Like I was exhausted. I was coming off newsreader and everything. Whereas you just you were having a delightful time, it seemed to me.
That show's such a well-oiled machine. I mean, it was when it was
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
And the cast were really lovely. And yeah, it was, yeah.
He would just sit there of an evening drinking a gin and doing his shots and then...
You make it sound like that.
No, but also all the cast kept coming up to me and like clutching my arm going, Adrian is really good.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know about that. That's,
Yeah, totally.
yeah,
Doris and particularly Doris and Katie and Kat.
Oh,
all
that's
of
good.
them took a special
Yeah,
moment to
yeah,
say that
yeah.
to me. And then they would go, no, we're not just saying that. We're saying like legitimately. Really good. All right. You got one?
What is the dream city we would like to live in?
Oh.
I think we had a pretty good time in London last year, didn't we?
Yeah, we talk about it a lot.
And we're watching a show set in London at the moment. And last night
We're
we
watching
were like,
Slow Horses and we are, and it is.
even in the shittest parts of London that they filmed that in,
I know.
we were still like, oh, remember London. Yeah.
I know, it was really good. We skipped Melbourne winter and London just felt, we had good friends that were over there. Beyonce was there.
Yeah. You make it sound like we were hanging out with her.
That's right. Yeah. We were hanging out with Queen Bee.
Yeah.
And our mothers came and that went well.
I did, yeah. Separately.
What I would say about London was it was not a cheap experience, which is why we are not there this week.
No,
Alas,
that's right.
Even
That's
though
right.
yes. I love London, but then also I personally, one difference between us is I love the beach a lot more than you love the beach.
Yeah, I would
But-
say that.
So we lived for 2 years in Bronte and I loved it.
yeah.
You
yeah.
liked it though.
I did, but you were riding from that apartment all day, so you were able to enjoy
Yes.
it a lot more. I had a job on the other side of the city, so I
You
kind of just got
gallantly-
like a tiny window of daylight. in
You took
Bronte.
one for the team.
Yeah, that's right.
And we do love New York, but weirdly, I feel like New York for us is more of a just go there, have an amazing time, and then get out.
yeah,
I don't know that I want to be there around the clock.
yeah, it's a bit.
And we
full
used to fantasize about LA
on. yeah,
because we had really fun times there. But I don't know, post COVID, I don't feel the same about it. Do you?
yeah. There's something's changed. Yeah,
Yeah.
in the last few years.
It feels like people are much more, well, the industry is much more Zoom based, and there's also for the homelessness problem is like out of control. Like West Hollywood in LA used to be this like carnival like atmosphere, and it's got a really different vibe now.
I think last year we really loved London as well because we had both separately lived there in past lives as,
That's right.
like in our 20s as backpackers, and then we went back as like proper adults.
I'd been
last
there
year.
with a girlfriend,
That's right. Talk about a past
Adrian,
life. Yeah.
whereas Adrian had a big gay life because every time we walked through a gay area, he was like, so this is the gay club. And I was like, okay. All right. I'm just going to. All right.
What does
all right.
2 out of 2 all hands on deck or must do every week together can't miss it thing mean? What does that mean?
Hang on. 2 out of 2 of 2. Is there a 1 of 2? Oh, here we go. Do you have any, here it goes. Do you have any non-negotiables? Like a drop everything, all hands on deck, or must do
right.
together every week, can't miss it thing. Oh, we do. Well, firstly, we absolutely have the non-negotiable that you have to have a proper conversation every day, even if you're on the other side of the world. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I don't think we've never even negotiated that. Well,
No.
That's why it's a non-negotiable.
No,
we don't
because
even think about it. It's yeah.
No, but
yeah.
that, I don't know whether that was really new for me. I was not.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just like your attitude to love.
Oh, no, I just felt it was something that I don't know, I just liked it at the start.
Yeah, and also I remember it being because when we first started dating, I was in Melbourne because my father was dying, and also then it coincided with the start of Offspring, and you were in Sydney, and you were like working at Foxtel at the time, and so a lot of our relationship had to be over the phone, and we would absolutely have like a long conversation every day, and I remember sometimes I would struggle that in the early days that like often my life was just like writing, like I would literally have just got up, and it's very hard when someone says, "What do you do today?" and I'm like, open my laptop,
Yeah.
did some typing about neurotic women.
Yeah.
And but then there was like a tipping point, and I realized that there obviously have been some times where for whatever reason some one of us has been so, but particularly actually I would say even when you were in production in Sydney, we still spoke every day, didn't we?
Yeah. We'd still, because I'd be stressed about something.
But sometimes it would be, so there's been times where it can only be a more quick conversation at the end of the night. And then I really feel like it really feels weird to me. So I would say that's the main non-negotiable. Are there any others? A cleaner is a non-negotiable.
No, conversation. That's kind of it. Yeah.
Adrian, what are your thoughts on Michael's novelty t-shirts?
Oh. Do I have thoughts on it? Yeah, the novelty t-shirts are just fun, I guess. I don't know that I have an opinion on them.
No, I think you and Em both have much more style than me, but I would say Em is sometimes confronted by lack of style, whereas you're just
yeah, it's fine. You do you.
Our relationship wouldn't have survived if you had a violently negative reaction to a lack of style. All right, let's do two more each. I've got, was Adrian pissed that Michael didn't remember him from their first time meeting?
I don't know if pissed. It's more just nice to have that.
Over me?
No, not over. It's just nice to have that memory is what I was going to say. Like, that's all.
And what is that memory now?
That you came, so we were both, see, I'm doing the radio reset.
Well done. Profesh.
We both worked for Baz Luhrmann at the time. No, we didn't both work there at the same time. That's the point.
Yeah, that was a confusing thing.
You worked for Baz
in development, research. Yeah.
Yeah, in about 2005. And then about a year later, I worked for him in sort of post and in marketing. And you came back to the Baz Mark office, which is sort of in a big, enormous house, or was in a big, enormous house with this huge kitchen where everyone had lunch. And you came back to visit all your old friends at Baz Mark and had lunch in the kitchen, and I met you there. But to be fair, you were surrounded by a lot of old friends, and you were sort of very preoccupied catching up with all of them. And so I could understand that is, when you're in that scenario, the new people.
See, look at that. That's why our marriage has survived. How understanding.
That's right. Yeah.
No, whereas I vividly remember Adrian on the night of the premiere, which is absolutely when we were properly like
introduced. Yeah. And yes, and which is a better story because we were, it was a big event, and it's more memorable. So yeah.
All right. Okay, have you got another one?
Was I prepared to be well-ish known by the Emsolation fandom?
Oh yeah.
It still surprises me. We were in Ballarat a couple of weeks ago, and you were being swarmed by all of those Emsolation fans.
It was my one time where I felt
the
like
entire Emsolation community.
You were Travis Kelce.
And people were asking you for selfies, and then one of the VIPs said, "Oh yeah, we were all here earlier. They'd paid all this money to do a special session with Em, and they all got a selfie with Em." I was like, "You paid for a selfie, and Michael's just here giving it out for free?" And then a really lovely woman came up, and she said, "I just want to say, I really like how much you and Michael love each other." And I was like, "Lady, you have no idea." No, I didn't say that. I said, "I just really appreciated that kind of comes across." Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's good. That's good. Let's just say I'm keenly aware that Adrian is a listener of the podcast.
Yes, I monitor, you could say.
No. Yeah. Okay. What is the most surprising? I'm going to flip this about each other, but what is the most surprising thing about Michael that we would not know? And I'll say the same about you.
What do people not know about you? You're such an
fascinated.
open book with everybody.
That's good. Well, you'd be great if you said he's actually incredibly stylish. Don't listen to M. Every day, Adrian gets up and sees me step out, and it's just like, wow, how have you
your
matched that
own
ensemble?
style. What do people not know about you? That is a really hard question to answer because I genuinely feel like your whole life is sharing with other people.
Oh.
And so, like, you're always on the phone chatting to people, whether it's social.
So basically, I'm never
available.
available. No, yes. Continue, yes.
I do think, like, the thing people don't know about you is how focused you are, like, in a way, like, your capacity to just zone in on one task at a time in a way that I find really hard to transition out of one task into another. Is what I really struggle with. And that's something that I think you have, whether it could be something as simple as like an article has your attention and you're reading that and that's what you're doing right now. Or, the fact that you can do this every week. Like if I had to do this every week and drop what I was doing on whatever script I was writing, whatever project I was preparing, that that is not going to work for me. So, yeah.
Well, my ones are much less profound, but I would say the most surprising things about you are I feel like people don't understand that your Italianness.
Oh, yeah.
Because I suppose, like, fair to say that Adrian's Asian ancestry is more apparent, but in actual fact, like, it is funny when you see, it's particularly funny when you evoke the voices of your Woggy relatives. I love that. I'm not asking you to do it at the moment.
No,
although we've already discussed Adrian's just coming off COVID. The other thing about Adrian,
I'm well and truly like negative.
Yeah, he
it's
is.
just in the after of it.
He's also this incredible vocal mimic, and that half of our lives we are wandering around just quoting things from, like, usually divas, and we have these lines from divas that just pepper our day all day, like little in-jokes. So at the moment, like, I mean, there are recurring ones like Oprah Winfrey. There's strange ones like Sharon Lewin, the virologist that spent a lot of time, like little quotes. Lady Gaga, obviously.
She gets a lot. Yeah.
She gets a lot because she's got a very distinctive vocal fry that is easy to. Often it'll be a Maya Rudolph impersonation of someone.
Yeah.
Like, a silence will be punctuated by surfboard.
Yeah.
People don't know
Maya
that.
doing Kamala, which we can't wait to see more of. Everyone's very excited.
But I would say the Italianness is often what is missed. Not that you are, I mean, I don't want to sound like Donald Trump. You are obviously equally.
I was Italian, and then suddenly I became
Chinese.
Chinese.
I don't know what happened. You turned into Chinese Malaysian.
Someone should look into that.
Yeah, and that relates to, like, you take very special, like he has like a leather shoe all shoe obsession, which strikes me as very Italian. And your approach to, like, cinema is very, like, I feel like I actually know it's both, isn't it? You gravitate towards Wong Kar-wai, but then you also gravitate towards all of those Italian
European ones. Yeah.
Anyway, all right, last questions.
Ultimate bucket list concert we would love to attend. What would we say to?
To be honest, I actually
we've done that.
I know. It sounds terrible. But I honestly can't foresee that anything will top the Renaissance tour.
But are there any of the new generation that you're excited to see?
Oh, Chapel.
Like Chapel. I was going to say,
We both are like
if she said she was going to, you would be like, we're getting tickets, we're going.
Yeah,
okay.
we're booked to see Troye Sivan. Gay.
Yeah.
Hi, gay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's historical ones. I wish I was at the Blonde Ambition concert. I was too young.
Yeah.
My brother went. But I just feel like even if, like, that Renaissance LA's tour stop is the peak, it was such a good peak because we loved her for 25 years and we loved that album most of all, and it was so gay, and we were there with all of the, like, most beehives members, and it was pretty untoppable. I feel like.
I wish I'd seen
we
her
went to heaven.
earlier ones. You were more into her in the early days. Even before we got together, you were really into her.
I'm glad that I brought her more into my life.
You did. Yeah.
Do you think you would have been that as into divas? I don't think either of us would have been if we didn't. We had to have an enabler, each of us.
No, I think you definitely opened that. Yeah, that door.
Yeah,
much more. Yeah.
I should also say this is the most gay thing about our relationship. We have houseplants and we've named them all after divas.
Yeah.
So, we spend a lot of time, like, naming them, and it's a real process because it was a complicated one because early on we gave the diva name sort of vaguely based on the sound. Like one of them is actually Madonna and the plant is a Madonna. But it's actually not the most spectacular. Like I feel like the plant itself does not give the status of Madonna in our lives. And there was another
When
one.
she flowers.
There's a
kind of,
huge one that is Ariana. And obviously, even though we love her, she's a second tier diva for us because we're a bit older.
Yeah, we still respect her. We still
respect her.
Yeah.
But recently we've become worried that there is some sort of like supernatural connection between our plants and the divas because we had Celine and Celine was really diseased. Like she had all this stuff growing on her and it was looking like she was going to die. And then 2 weeks before the Olympics, we took all this action, we put all this spray on her and put her outside in the sun and she completely flourished again. And then she came out at the Olympics and sang again.
The real Celine came out
So
at the Olympics,
we think we have to be really...
We've got these voodoo house plants.
We do. Yes,
yeah.
that's exactly right. It's like a voodoo dolls, but for divas. And so we have to be so vigilant. I was never into gardening, but now it feels like the fate... We do have a graveyard section, which is because we've got this tomb section, and so it's downstairs.
It gets no light.
It gets no light, and so that's where we put, say, Whitney,
Judy.
Yeah, they live down there, but and then we had a heart stopper moment the other day where it looked like Barbara was having a wobble, and like, can you imagine? But Adrian, every day like going out there, and Barbara has flourished again.
Yeah,
thank God.
Yeah.
All right, last question. You pick it.
Oh God, I just picked the last. Okay.
Oh, did you? Sorry.
Hang on.
Who has better music taste and movie TV choices? Adrian has much more sophisticated taste than I have in all of the above. I have both the music taste of a 14-year-old girl and the TV. Same with TV, really. Sometimes we bridge.
Your TV taste is much better than, like, you watch a lot more shows than I do.
Okay, yes, I'll give you that. Yes, I do. Yeah. Because you're a bit of slight, and I say this with respect, cinema snob.
No, I really like. Yeah, when we find a show that we can both watch, it's like a really big deal.
Yeah,
it's a really big deal.
And then we're locked in it. You can't go forward. So Presumed Innocent, that was a torturous process getting it watched because we could only watch episodes with each other.
Yeah, and we've landed on it now with Slow Horses. I think that's
have.
got something for both of us. Yeah.
All right, come on, last question.
That's not that one. Okay.
Oh no, that was my one.
Okay. Was Em scared of losing Michael when Adrian came along? I don't know how we answer that. That's
a question for her. I doubt it.
You didn't get a sense of that.
I think she probably felt pretty rock solid. Yeah, I doubt it. I think she was probably... I mean, she'd seen me pinball through various romantic... Because she'd been in the one romantic situation She was pinballing through in her younger, like, high school thing. Then she was having all sorts of weird romantic, and I was having nothing. I mean, no, I'm not, like, obviously, she definitely got more interest in high school, though we were both didn't get a lot of interest. But then in her 20s, she was a mum, so she was sitting there like breastfeeding, whereas I was all over the place. So I don't know. I suspect with Adrian came a sense of stability. And I mean, to me, it often feels like with them, it was there's part of her neuro makeup is it's just good to have something to rely on with some boundaries. And you certainly brought that. It was like, okay, there we go. Now the landscape is set and I will, in her case, literally arrange my space within that because she did take over the bedroom. Not ours. The spare.
She has had a big hand in decorating our house. I feel like there's
she wants more of a hand. Don't you worry about that.
There's certain choices.
She just wants me to write a blank check and send her off. She'll take you. She'll happily take you for consultation because she thinks that it wouldn't be insufferable to her. You could make a fast decision, and also she thinks that I'm too tight with money, whereas she thinks that you've got more of the Italian. Yes, we must get that level of craftsmanship.
I still remember when she was, what was it? Was it with our wedding? It was either the venue or our outfits. I remember she just pulled me aside and she went, "Tell me your vision." And so, she is always kind of like...
She did not pull me aside. Tell me your vision and how we will overcome Michael.
These are not accurate impersonations of Em, by the way. This is just how we see her.
We do. We do imitate Em like that. I don't know why. It's not a very flattering imitation because she has a lovely voice.
I think I just picture like a glamorous, banished Disney villain diva.
Or drag queen.
Or drag queen
Snitchy
diva.
drag queen.
who's been banished to the suburbs of Warrandyte.
And the most common thing that we say is one word, which is gay, which we say a lot. Like it can just be about anything.
Yeah.
Like if someone homosexual comes on, like if Jonathan Bailey drifts onto our television screen for it's just or Tom Daly or whoever, it's just gay, and it summons them.
This
summons
entire
them.
episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there we go. That's not really relevant.
I mean, yeah, there we go.
Thank you very much. I feel like we've, let's face it, Ems and Scott's was more of, I would say it was more like a prosecution. Whereas
it was
our one
probably
was
far
like
more exciting. I wish I could have given everyone
We
something
don't-
more exciting.
we don't
and
deliver
scandalous
drama.
No.
But that's how I like it.
Yeah, I'm sure this was probably very nauseating for some people and thrilling for others. So,
Yeah. I know people are asking us what's our advice for the straights. What can you say?
I can't help. the
I
straight
can't help
people.
them. We're not encumbered with like gender expectations built up over millennia, so that's great.
Yeah.
Or if we are, they're neutralized, and also we don't have kids. Do those two things. Cast out gender and no kids, and just pick someone you're very aligned to and love. And there you go. That's our lesson.
Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To enjoy today's sealed section of Emsolation, upgrade your experience and join the Extra family with our premium service, Emsolation Extra. You get 2 bonus episodes direct to your favourite podcast app every week in an exclusive feed, as well as an Ask Me Anything where Em and Michael answer your questions. There's over 70 other episodes awaiting you already, plus you'll also get Instagram close friends access, ticket pre-sales, merch discounts, and heaps more. Help Em keep this independent neurodivergent business alive by supporting us for less than $2 a week on our yearly plan or less than $2.50 a week on our monthly plan. Just sign up at emsolation.supercast.com now. Emsolation is recorded at Down the Hill Studios, hosted by Em Rossiano with Michael Lucas. Executive produced by Benjamin Wasley, produced by Em Rossiano. Edited by Ezekiel Fenn and videos by James Henderson. Socials by Benjamin Wasley, Em Rossiano and Marcella Rossiano Barrow, with assistance from Jem Evans and Isabella Hines. Follow us on Instagram at Emsolation Podcast, or you'll find a link in our bio so you can sign up for our weekly newsletter, join other Emsolators at the Emsolation Group on Facebook, follow our YouTube and TikTok channels, and so much more. Help us out by sharing Emsolation with your friends, give us a 5-star rating, and make sure you're following us by hitting the follow button on your favourite podcast app. Thanks for listening and or watching this week's episode, and we can't wait to chat with you again soon.